Council. So I've sort of niched from there. I'm also the head of operations at the LBM as Love, Dating, and Marriage. Um, that should be all for now. Except there are any other questions I could
And you are
answer.
also called the Affair Whisperer.
Yes, the Affair Whisperer. That's my page. Yeah.
That's also your industry name.
Yes, so we're whispering affairs.
Yes. So, my brother and friend, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, welcome everyone. My name is Hassani Pettiford, and I, along with my wife, are the co-founders of Couples Academy, and it's a private um, a private institute that really focuses on helping couples to heal from the pain of infidelity. We are marriage counselors and infidelity recovery specialists. We've been doing this work for about 18 years. We do retreats and intensives in different parts of the world, written 18 books. My latest book, Moving Forward After Infidelity, and just excited to be a part of this conversation and share what couples can do to heal or to avoid the pain of an affair.
Mm. All right, all right, all right. That is amazing. That is amazing. Um, Afani, you've done this for 18 years, right? Um, sh- what can you say in 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 a few words? What has that looked like? Helping couples heal from infidelity, 18 years. What does that look like? How does that feel?
It feels amazing to be able to make an impact in people's lives because 18 years, well, prior to 18 years, when we first started to come across a lot of couples who were experiencing the pain of affairs, we didn't have the skill set, we didn't have the training, the know-how, the wisdom, the guidance to kind of help people. And so we would see people come to us and leave worse off than how they came. And so we made it up in our hearts and our minds that we were going to do something transformational. And so pursuing this as a focus has been not just rewarding for us to be able to make impact in the lives of others, but it has helped save marriages, it has helped restore broken families, and it has helped really make an indelible mark on this world that cannot be erased. Because when a couple heals from their pain and steps into their purpose, they become a secret weapon for kingdom domination in the earth realm. So I'm excited to be a part of this mission. It's not easy. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
I want to ask you something as well, Hassani. I saw a report that says 2 out of every 3 men in marriage have gone out of their marriage at some point, to cheat or something, and that 1 in every 3 women in marriage have done the same. What do you think about that report?
I think that whether those statistics are accurate or not, it speaks to a larger problem that needs to be addressed. I think depending upon what organization, what stat you get, they're all going to relatively be high. I mean, at the end of the day, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 4, it's too high. It should have a 0%, rate of people committing affairs. But what we're seeing is that I think society around the world, typically it has been the male who has been unfaithful on the wife. But we're seeing that a lot of women, for a variety of reasons, are really rising in these percentages. And I think it's alarming on both sides, and we need to speak to it.
Okay. Part of what because we've always wanted to do something like this, especially the Affair Whisperer as well. She leads the also leads the infidelity recovery arm of our ministry, so she's the one dealing with these things. We've always wanted to do something for a group of people together, but the recent video of the CEO of Astronomer, what they call that was caught on tape and everything, was part of what just motivated us to go ahead and just see if we can help as many people. Mrs. Uche, How did you process that video? What did you feel when you saw that video? Just talk a bit about what you saw.
Okay. So for me, I saw real people that I deal with every day. You know, I saw real lives being shattered. And for me, it was like, that's the worst case scenario. You know, many people are trying to heal these broken marriages that are even hidden. And this one, the light just shone on it, and immediately everything started breaking down. The wife changed her name, people rallied around her, the sisterhood. They were trying to tell her, you can't do this to us. You have to break up. I'm sure divorce lawyers were all over the place. The noise was just too much. I don't see that marriage can be recovered now. So maybe they might even have to divorce first, then maybe they can think about it later. So it's a reality and it trickles down. You see, it was a joke to so many people, but these are real lives. The children, everybody, nobody left them alone to even process it. It was just too much. So for me, I was just like, wow, this is crazy. I even remember forwarding it to you and asking you, wow, look at what's going on out there. And this so sad for this family. You see the man by the next day he's losing his job, he has to resign. There's so much loss around that kind of thing. And it was so sad for me. But yeah, I think sometimes it's God that shown the light so that the man can also retrace his step and start healing, changing, what's changing the trajectory of what his life has been like. Maybe it's time to look inward and start healing. So that's what we see every day. We see it every day. And this one is not about anybody, shining like this. We're even doing it when nobody has seen anything in the hidden and everything is so difficult. How much more that kind of so for me, it was just so sad. It was really sad.
Okay, it's my other phone. Yeah. One of the things that touched me about it was that the guy was having to face his own issues in front of the world,
Yeah.
and we know from experience that these things go on, is going on in a lot of homes as well. But he had the unfortunate scenario that he had to face his own publicly. Hassani, you are also you featured in many shows. You've um handled a lot of couples. Can you just like give us some inside idea, of what would have happened from that minute, that light, as in that video went viral? What will be the next things that will be happening, both at home and in their minds and in their hearts, in their environment? You've gone through this a lot of times. Just give us some breakdown, idea, speculations of how these things will play out.
So first of all, let me just say, for him to bring his mistress along with other members of his organization to a public event is an indication that most likely this has been going on for quite some time. And a selective group of people were well aware of what this affair was. And so, you know, for this to come out in public, a lot of people think what they do behind closed doors is nobody else's business but their own. But that's not true. What you do behind closed doors can impact a generation of people, because what was done in secret came out in public. And so, as a result, not just his life was impacted, but the lives of so many other people were impacted. His family, the mistress's family, the employees of the organization, the shareholders, public. I mean, everybody has been impacted by this. And I've had clients reach out to me who said, listen, I need to set up a session with you immediately. I'm triggered because of what just happened. Can we have an emergency session? So it's not just what's happening to them, but it's the trickle effect of what's happening around the globe. Now, in terms of what's happening in their home, you got to understand it's not just a private matter anymore. They have faced public scrutiny. So the pressure's on. And so it's hard to handle these matters in privacy or secrecy because everybody's weighing in. And that puts a whole lot of undue pressure on all parties involved. I put a post out on social media a few days ago, and I referenced it, the $15 million hug. Who thought a hug would be so expensive? That hug represented the affair, but as a result of the marriage now breaking down, you're dealing with a whole lot of financial consequences, from his income loss to asset distribution to court fees, attorney fees, alimony, child support, so on and so forth. And a lot of times people aren't thinking about the consequences of their actions, but here we're seeing it on full display. So while it's hurting this home, and hopefully they can get help to restore their relationship if that's even in the cards, hopefully other people who are watching this look at this as a teachable moment to have deeper conversations about their relationship and how to avoid it or how to bounce back from it as a result of what has happened.
Okay, but um, tell us a bit about how. Okay, I don't know how we'll split it, but I want one of you to tell us a bit about what we'll be going through the wife's mind. Before I even do that, and Hassan, somebody said something. Somebody said, "I bet if it was the wife that cheated, the negative energy would not be like this."
If it was the wife who cheated, the negative energy wouldn't be like this.
Yeah, the ripple effect, the noise, everything.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, even though the focus is on the CEO of the organization, the mistress was also a wife of a supposed
Right,
billionaire,
yeah.
right? So I think the more you're paying attention to these conversations, it's not just a spotlight on him, but it's a spotlight on her as well. And it's raising this conversation about what causes women and what causes men to do what they do. So who knows? I mean, we could all theorize what would happen if it were a woman, but the point is, it forces us to have conversations that we generally do not have.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think will be going on in the CEO's wife's mind and heart as the video came out? Go through the process for us, because there are probably some people here that have experienced something like that. You know, maybe theirs was not on, theirs didn't go viral, but maybe they saw a text message, they saw a video, or somebody told them something. Talk a bit about that.
If I could start, because I want you to really lay the foundation for us as a woman, but simply if I could say, from my experience working with couples, oftentimes this doesn't catch the wife by surprise. It's not
Wow.
like the wife didn't know that the husband was cheating. Usually, a lot of women in this position, unfortunately, have settled for it because it comes along with being married to someone in this position, of this caliber, of this status, with this power. And many wives have known all along. But now that it's come out, the secret agreement that we had, whether verbally or non-verbally discussed between us, has now been exposed. So it's not just about what you're doing, but it's about what it's now doing to me. This is why we find that a lot of betrayed spouses don't like to share with anybody what's happened, because of the impact that it has on them, the shame that it has on them, the way it makes them look and feel as well. So my experience tells me that, not that I have any evidence or proof of anything, but this to me probably did not catch her off guard, as if she had no clue that this affair was happening. But the fact that it became public now became the problem.
Mm.
Okay.
What you got?
Okay. So yes, I agree that um, it's possible that she knew, and but she must have been hoping it wasn't true. It was just a figment of her imagination. Some people even make excuses for their spouse, since hoping that they're just that it's not true, and they're but this would have hurt, made her feel humiliated. Humiliation is the first thing, and anger. Okay, yes, you may be cheating, but at a Coldplay, everywhere, everybody now knows is that bad, and then there'll be the heartbreak, anger, rage. She'll feel all those feelings will come, and then that's why you see her. She's dissociated herself. That marriage is already dead in her head because I can't be the wife to this man. See her changing her name, removing the name, shutting down a lot of things at that. So that's what she'll be feeling immediately. Okay, and then she'll be thinking, who do I call next? What do I do? She might shut down her phone. She doesn't want to listen to anybody right now. She wants to breathe alone. Yeah, it might not be a shock, but I mean, all the feelings of the betrayed will overwhelm her at this point. Then she can start processing them and thinking about what to do next. Yeah. So that's the first thing.
So someone was asking that, do you think there can be restoration in this type of situation?
Yes, because we've seen many cases of public officials, uh, well-known pastors, CEOs of organizations, entertainers who have been in public scandal and have been able to restore the relationship. In fact, even from a political perspective, we've seen wives that have really, joined press conferences, holding hands with the politician and saying, "I'm with my spouse, I'm with my husband, and we will get through this. And this is a private matter. Respect our privacy." So we've seen this happen before. Her knee-jerk reaction to kind of disassociate herself on social media makes sense because typically what happens is the first thing you do is shut down accounts because you don't want to be looking at all these threads and having all these notifications of people weighing in. So you shut down any type of public persona or presence you have and then transition to do things privately. I think that the knee-jerk reaction for most people is to leave, right? Because you're in shock. You just found out about what happened. In her case, she may have known, she may have not known, but irregardless, the knee jerk reaction is to go. But once cooler heads prevail and you start thinking about, okay, let's think about all the possibilities and probabilities of what will happen if I do this and if I do that. You start thinking about the calculated risks of your decisions. Then you begin to, kind of push pause. And this is why we say you should never, ever, ever make a decision to do anything when you are soaked and saturated in your feelings, because any decision you make in that moment, you're going to regret it. Those who say, I'm out, I'm done, I'm filing for divorce, usually they regret it and want to stay. Those who are committed to staying without thinking through it regret it and want to leave. And so they're vacillating back and forth because they're all confused. And this is why we say you got to get with a counselor. Why? Because that counselor will guide you through a process to help you make sense of the situation so you can make a decision that serves you, serves the marriage, serves the family, serves the future best.
Wow. Madam Che?
Yeah. Yeah, so no matter what has gone on, okay, every marriage is restorable. It depends on the people in it, okay? But for me, I think not immediately. She would have to, she needs the time to process and everything, but it depends on what they've been through, to decide whether to stay in a marriage or not. There's a lot that might have gone down, okay? They might have been through things together, built a lot of things together, married parents, they have children. There's a lot to consider. So you don't make a permanent decision on a temporary. However, she needs to sit down, really think about it. And it depends on who he becomes also. His posture. Is he remorseful or he doesn't think he had done anything wrong? Does he want his marriage back? Because you can fight for a remorseful, unfaithful. All unfaithfuls are not the same. You can fight for a remorseful, unfaithful who decides to turn himself around and everything. But if he's not remorseful, then she'll have to think about it. But for now, I think she should just calm down, take a deep breath, do whatever.
Yeah.
If I could
That's
say
it.
something,
Then she
I'm
can,
sorry. I'm sorry.
they should submit themselves to counseling because there's a structured program that they need to go through, and they can't do that on their own. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we heard you. You glitched at some point, but we
Hello.
heard. Yes, we heard. You can hear you.
So, what I wanted to say, a couple of years ago, I watched a documentary of Coretta Scott King, who was the wife of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights leader. And in that documentary, she said something very powerful. She said, "When I married my Martin, I knew I wasn't just marrying a man, I was marrying a vision." She
Mm.
knew that he had a huge calling on his life and that there would be a certain lifestyle and commitment that came along with being married to a man like him. And so when I sit in private quarters with a lot of my clients, A lot of my clients are business owners or top level executives of major corporations, and they're not just married to a person, there is a lifestyle that they're married to. They are married to assets. They are married to businesses. They are married to legal contracts. They're married to a lot of things that went into that agreement. In fact, usually very successful people enter into the covenant of marriage with contracts about what should happen if situations like this take place. If you stay married to me for X amount of years and then we divorce, you'll get X amount of dollars. But if you stay this long, you'll get this amount. If I cheat, this is what you'll get. I mean, the weeds, the level of weeds that people go into in terms of all of these agreements and things that they kind of put in place in case crisis like this occurs. So I'm going to tell you, it's probably not going to be any type of quick fix, quick decision that's made. There's a lot of voices, there's a lot of advisors that are going to go into this process of what happens with their lifestyle, let alone their marriage.
Okay, but Asani, tell us one of the most unlikely cases you've seen restored in this 18 years. Tell us one or two unlikely cases that didn't look like it, but you were able to see them restored.
Well, number one, here's a reality. A lot of people don't divorce, but they've made a decision to live separated for years.
Wow.
And oftentimes there's this belief that, man, you've been separated for 2, 3 years. You might as well just give up, move on, start over, find somebody new. We had a couple who came to us, very successful couple, major corporations. They have been separate, living apart for 5 long years. And for whatever reason, made the decision to come back and restore their relationship. And in that 3 day process, literally, we had them developing plans on moving trucks and what property they were going to be moving into and how they were going to work this thing out. And so when it seemed like there was no hope possible, restoration came to a couple like that. But then you have other situations where there have been multiple affair partners, there have been children out of wedlock, there have been diseases that have been contracted, and you would think there's no way that they could ever recover in situations like this. Yet and still, something within each of them said, we can even overcome this. And I guess the worst case is that a gentleman cheated on his wife, moved out, lived with the mistress for 5 months. The mistress conspires against him, hires hitmen to come into the home to rob him because he had a safe in that apartment with tens of thousands of dollars. And so there was a fight that broke out between the mistress and the men that she hired to conspire against the boyfriend. And the men that she hired killed the mistress in front of the affair partner. And so all types of crazy situations. So even in that, the couple was able to restore. After you left me, lived with somebody else, almost lost your life, public humiliation, sex videos that went viral, all of these things happened, yet and still they came back to work on the restoration of their relationship. So
Wow.
I don't think that there's any situation that a couple can't come back from if they have a desire to do the work and overcome those challenges.
Wow, that is amazing. Uche, please check your network. You seem to be frozen.
Yes.
Are you
Am I? I can hear you. You can't hear me.
you
Hello?
you are frozen? I can hear you, but you're frozen. But I don't know if other people can. Can everybody see Mrs. Uche properly? I can hear you though. Wow, but Hassani, that was an amazing story. That was an amazing story. So yeah, so she said it's like I watch a movie. In fact, I have to reach that couple. Let's shoot that movie. That's the full movie. That's the story. Uh, so Uche, what would you do um, if this woman,
Wow.
yeah, if a lady comes to you that or a guy, or because women cheat as well, so let's not always make it look like a guy thing that their spouse is cheating or has cheated or something. What will be your direction?
So, I hope everybody can hear me. So the first thing um, with cheating is to, when they all come like that, we have to state manage it first. So we need to, you know, that's the first stage, is to reveal the affair, talk about the affair. Everybody's we need to listen to everybody. Then we will separate the betrayed from the unfaithful, because they need to deal with their emotions separately, because what the betrayed is feeling is not what the unfaithful is feeling. Okay. And then while we're doing that, they need to work on themselves and begin to grow. And then you find the unfaithful has to start apologizing. Okay. Become remorseful, think it through, because some unfaithful come and they don't regret the relationship they had. They just regret what they see happening to their wife. So we need to get them in that space where they're also, thinking about it. We have to get a bridge for the empathy, to at least understand what they've done. So if you don't do that, you find that when the wife is triggered, they are the ones, they even get angry. They're thinking, what's wrong with this person? I've already apologized, I've done this. So they need to really see the pain they cause. They need to understand it. They need to know that the person is not a drama queen or anything. That they're really in pain and understand what they've done to them. So that's where, by the time the two of them, we've gotten their hearts on the table before we can even begin to look at the marriage, because the first marriage is completely dead. And once it's dead, what we need to do is to get them to the place, remind them of why they got married together, do all the work depending on what's going on with them, so that we have their hearts on the table, and we can negotiate and get them to the place where they start building, their marriage brick by brick. And that's also, because we don't want to put we don't just want to put a band-aid on that broken relationship. We need to also dig up the foundation. Whatever it is that was going on there, they need to see. Sometimes you get to a place where you even start doing something like the proper premarital, because most of them didn't even do a premarital session at all. They didn't understand what marriage was about. They need to get back to the basics, to even understand their roles, communication, respect, sex, everything. We'll start dealing with it, because that's how to build a brand new marriage. We don't want them to go back to the old marriage, because it wasn't working anyway. So the two of them need to work on a brand new one. And you find that many times the marriage they get is even better, thriving. They can't believe it themselves that they wanted to give up on that same marriage, like they are now thriving in and doing so well. So it's a lot of work on the field. Okay, it's a lot of work. And it's tailor made, because no two cases are the same. Yeah.
Mm, that's that's a lot. We'll soon allow people, members of the audience, ask a question, but to pivot of what Mrs. Uche said, I think it's you that Mrs. Uche also told me this, that, oh, I don't know, I can't remember, that there's no excuse for cheating, but there's always a reason for cheating. All right, did we get that? There's no excuse,
Reasons. Yes.
but there's always a reason for cheating. All right. Hassani, how true is that? Can you throw some light on that?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, that's 1000% correct. In fact, there's a chapter in my book called Why People Cheat. And there's no justifiable reason, but there are reasons. And I share in that book how there's three contributing factors that contribute to the why. You have personal factors, things that are going on within me. Maybe it was my childhood upbringing, things I was exposed to, my own personal weaknesses and personality flaws, my own biases, and whatever the case may be, my own issues, right? That have nothing to do with you. But then there are relational factors, right? Things that weren't going well in the relationship that aren't the reason, but it contributes to why I did what I did. And then there are social factors. And typically, it's never one or the other, it's a combination of all three. And in each one of these categories, personal, relational, and social, we in the book point to 25 potential whys of why you did what you did. And taking the time to really self diagnose and assess your why will help you prevent yourself from ever getting involved in it again. So we always focus on the fruit issue. The fruit issue is I cheated, but what's the root issue? What is the reason behind why? And once you know the reason and you know the why, and your spouse knows your reason and why, the healing can truly begin.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Uche, do you want to talk a bit about that as well?
Okay. So yes, I was one who told you that
Mm.
there is no excuse, none whatsoever, because if you are suffering in a marriage, your spouse was also not enjoying that same marriage. So there's no reason, there's no excuse for it. Because if you knew there was a problem in the marriage, you could have gone for counseling and sorted that issue, but you decided to step out. You decided to self-medicate. You thought about yourself alone, and that's why you stepped out, thinking there was something out there. So there's so many reasons why people step out. Mostly it's about loneliness. Okay, it's mostly about loneliness. Whatever you were dealing with, you felt you were dealing with it alone. Maybe your spouse didn't have time for you. You decided, okay, there was somebody out there that I could talk to about it. Or your spouse was there was contempt. She was looking at you somehow. She couldn't understand what you were talking about because there could be addictions. So many reasons. All right, and that's when you see that if you have to deal with it alone, and the other person, your spouse, the person you think will be there for you, doesn't get it, and you don't know that you can go for healing alone, to find out what's wrong with you. You now decide to step out. Somebody else is listening. Somebody understands you. So you think, and then so
Yeah.
there's so many weird reasons here and there. Or it borders on loneliness and maybe family of origin issues. Okay. Another thing is the culture, sometimes culture where you're from. Some people think that's no big deal. Some cultures are maybe polygamous by nature, the men, so many reasons out there, but there is no excuse. If you signed up for monogamy, your spouse is not expecting you to open that marriage on any end. So to them, that is a lot. And, yeah, so no excuse, no excuse, no Bible excuse. Some people come and think, yeah, that's why they're not even remorseful. I can do this because she's been doing that. She doesn't listen to me. There's no sex. There's no this. There's no that. You can get help for the issues. Don't complicate it by going out and opening that relationship there, out there, because you you'll be amazed the kind of trouble that comes out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So infidelity is a reality in marriages that is not usually publicly dealt with, or talked about. But wherever two people come together and make vows and promises, sometimes things happen. So it's a reality, especially with the statistics that we have and have seen. It's a reality. But what has not become common or what has not been talked about a lot is the restoration process.
Mm.
All right, and the choice to restore. What most people do is some people just leave. I've seen a lot of people like that. That once there's any sign of cheating, you know, any sign of it of betrayal at all, they just leave. That's just what they do. They just leave. And like Hassani mentioned, sometimes that is not necessarily the best approach. And Madam Uchi also talked about when she was talking to me earlier on, she mentioned that staying is the new shaming. So
Mm.
once there's cheating, everybody just tells you you must leave, you have to leave, you have to leave. So the people saying to leave, they won't leave if they're in that situation. But you see, because they are in their emotions at the time, they are all saying you need to leave, you need to leave. So that's the first option people take. They just leave. We don't necessarily, again, as professionals, we don't think that's always the best approach. Infidelity is painful, but the worst thing you can do is to now go into regret and pain. So you're going to have pain and you're going to have regret because you left abruptly without thinking it through. So, first option most people take, which we don't necessarily think is the right thing, is just leaving. Too many people have done that. In fact, in our own climate in Africa, because divorce is not as glamorous or as beneficial financially as it is out here in the West. In the West, this kind of divorce, there will be a lot of settlement. Divorce lawyers will make a lot of money. The divorce people too will split money, things like that. In our own country, I've not heard so much of all this kind of exchange of money when people divorce. So sometimes people divorce is not glamorous. It's not as beneficial, as it is in the West. So what happens sometimes is that when some of this, I'm going to use assumption that the man in this example is the one that cheated and is also the more financially stable person. So when these women leave angrily, they find out they can't sustain themselves financially. I've had to deal with these things. Some of them as well, because of the age they are in when they also left, they are not able to bounce back. Again, in the Western climate, people get married almost at any age. So you can somebody at 45 still finding love, somebody at 50 still finding love. In my part of the world, it's not as common. So these women jump out and then they find out they are stranded financially, stranded emotionally, stranded relationally, and some of them end up becoming also side chicks of other married people. That's where they end up, because nobody wants to really marry them again at that age. Okay, so that first option is not always the greatest option. All right, the second option I see and I notice is they stay without ever treating or healing the issue. So the couple stays, but nothing is done. They just stay and fight. They just stay and grieve. They just stay and complain. They just stay with guilt. They just stay with the shame. But the issue is never properly addressed. That is the second stage I noticed a lot of people do. But the third option, which is what we advocate for, is to seek help. When something like this happens, even if you have friends you share it with, but most of them are not in the position, they are not equipped and knowledgeable enough to guide you or to assist you. In fact, some of them are also too emotionally vested. Maybe they're your family members, also they are emotionally invested. So they are not in a position to give you, good advice. So it's always good to talk to a professional. The person is able to, without being emotionally crowded in the situation, give you real options, help you process what you are going through. Because as we dive into it, we understand that going through betrayal is difficult to just imagine. I mean, it's like an 18-wheeler hit you. It's not something you can stand up from and just say, I'm okay. No, a lot has to go into the healing process. And usually you will need a professional to hold your hand, help you interpret your feelings. But some people just shut down. They stay on their own. They think this is something we can handle. This is something we can handle. That's what they think. And then they find out that the pain continues, stays there, degenerates into a whole lot of things. Some people even do revenge cheating. You know, that third stage is where we want to tell people that, look, no matter what has happened, talking to a therapist, talking to professionals is crucial. The professional's job is not to insist that you stay or leave, but they are able to help you process, able to help you heal. And when you are in a better position emotionally and mentally, then you can make a decision, and they will still guide you and hold your hand as you're making a decision. But the truth is that leaving or staying is not necessarily just the immediate best decision. Talking to a professional, especially a trained professional, an experienced professional, they have seen so many aspects to that case you can't even imagine. Just like the kind of case Hassani mentioned, where there was gunshot, there was murder, there are a lot of things like that. So many cases like that, that you would think your case is peculiar, you think your case is unique. You'll find out that people have been through what you're going through, and some of them have come up better for it, and you too can come up better for it. So our advice, if there's infidelity and anything like that, even if you are married and you've never experienced it, is great. We're going to talk about also how to affect proof you're married. But um, you know, don't just choose an option without proper guidance. That's what we're trying to say. Don't just pick an option without proper, guidance. Asani, can you speak a bit into that?
I think you're absolutely right. I often give the analogy of getting on a plane, no matter where you're going. Let's say Nigeria to London, London to New York, wherever. When that plane lifts off of the ground, 90% of its journey is off course. The only way that it makes it to its final destination, regardless of how experienced the pilot is, regardless of how secure the plane is, regardless of it all, the only way that you can get to your final destination is that there has to be a radar in the cockpit, a navigation system guiding that plane. And so the pilot is constantly course correcting and going along the path of the navigation. And so, likewise, when couples attempt to restore their marriage on their own because they're following some personality on Instagram or reading hashtags or listening to the wrong people, when they attempt to restore their relationship, 90% of their journey is off course. And as I've always said, people say, hey, um, I had good intentions. Well, intentions can lead you straight to hell. The road of you understand, you have to be on the right path, being guided by the right individual who has helped other couples overcome and restore their relationships. So you really have to be careful who you listen to. You got to be careful who you give your ear to. You got to be careful what you read, because there's a lot of information out there that will make your situation worse. So you have to deal with people who are qualified, who have experience, and who can get you to that place. And here's the reality. Here's the reality. It would be nice if both the husband and the wife both wanted the marriage at the same level, at the same time, in the same way. It's very common that in this journey of recovery, one wants it more than the other. One moment, one person wants it, then they want to give up. So sometimes you need a support system and accountability to keep you on track, to remind you of why you're doing it in the first place, to remind you of the benefit, to remind you of all the people that will be impacted, your children, just your livelihood, your future, your legacy. All of this is at risk by simply making a decision to leave. I'm telling you, when you invest in your relationship, the benefits that it has for everyone far exceed anything that you could ever imagine. And so I agree with you 1000%. You have to go through a process. And that's exactly why we're here having this conversation in the first place.
Mm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. I'd like to add to that. Okay. So, like you said about leaving, many women just leave, okay, and then they come to our DMs and tell us, oh, that they just wanted their husband to run after them, and then they left, and now they're sorry, they want us to to fix the relationship now. So that's why we always advise, don't just leave, okay. You could create boundaries, but don't just go away like that. Don't make that decision when you are in that state, okay. Then staying without healing, what we find, okay, for those who even leave, what's reigning now is that they become the affair partners of the husband they left. You know,
Wow.
that's the latest thing that's going on around now. They become the, because they go out there and they try so many people and they find that, oh, my husband wasn't even that bad to me. Okay, let's remove the affair. Our marriage was not that horrible, and these other people don't even respect me or love me the way he did, and they become affair partners to their own husbands. Some become affair partners to other people's husbands. So that's why we're doing all that we're doing to ensure that one more marriage doesn't break. Okay, we have too many of them out there. We're trying to even fix those ones. And you that are there, I know it's painful, it's daunting, and even trying to do it on your own. Recovery with a specialist is hard work, and you know it's not linear. You could be up today, doing better today, like Asani was saying. One spouse wants it today, the other person doesn't want it. You find that tug of war, and then how much more if you wanted to do it on your own. So staying without healing is another one. People stay, you know, but there's resentment. They have a
Yeah.
plan in their heart. They're just waiting for the baby of the house, probably get into university, and their house. I know a story of a woman who they all went for graduation together. They traveled abroad, and in the man's head, we were coming back together as husband and wife. But after the graduation, the woman moved into a house she had already, an apartment she had gotten. And the man was like, ah, we're not going back. She said, there's no we. There has not been any we for 20 years. I was just waiting for him to get ready, to get settled, and we're gone. And the man thought it was a joke. Till today, nothing, So it's better to seek help. Don't do it on your own. You can't even do it on your own. You keep bleeding on each other. If you leave, you will bleed on someone else. Even if you leave, you'll be amazed that you'll attract that same man. You'll attract the same, you know, the energy is still there because you have not healed on your own. So you find that you might still attract the same person, attract the infidelity, the affairs all over again. Some, I mean, that's why we're always preaching. Let the first marriage, save your first marriage. Stay and save your first marriage because 50% chance that's even, I think it's gone to 45. And then for the second marriage, maybe 25, that it's going to survive. And it goes downhill from there. So please check yourself into therapy. Let someone help you. Let someone support you. Let them hold your hand. The days you're not up to it, you know what to do to get you. We have the tools to get you up and going again and, fighting the good fight of faith for your marriage. Yeah.
Okay. Um, we're soon gonna allow people from the audience ask questions. Even though I've seen somebody's comment that says we should let people know that living is an option. We have not made any option. We can't choose an option until you talk to a therapist. So don't misunderstand or misconstrue what we're saying. This is what we're actually saying. Don't make those decisions. Because I saw somebody else saying that sometimes living is the best option. We have to sit down. You have to go through the process, of therapy, of help. All right. So we're not saying you always will have to stay. No, that's what I'm saying. We can't even just sit here and make that decision. That's what we're trying to tell you. It's important you talk to a specialist. That's the thing. And I've been a pastor. So I noticed somebody also asked something here that must the help be through the church or through ministry? Absolutely not. I've been a pastor for close to 30 years, and I knew that for a long time the church did not really have any support in things like infidelity recovery. All right, so we're one of the few people that are professionally trained, that can handle it. All right, we're one of those that are professionally trained, that can handle it. Everybody I seen here is a professional in that field. So I knew when we ourselves started to learn the professional way to handle it. That's why we're bringing this help really out here for everyone. I know many churches are not in a position to do so. They just tell you hug yourselves, tell each other sorry, and move on. I've heard all kinds of advice from church leaders. Again, I'm a church leader, so I'm not fighting my people, but we don't know a lot of things. So and we need to allow the professionals do what they know. There was a case of where a man cheated, and the advice the pastor gave the woman was sleep with your husband, have sex with your husband 3 times a day, so that he will not cheat. Another one, they told her to go and buy sexy lingerie so that her husband will not cheat. As please speak up about some of those kind of.
I want to comment on that comment that just came through because I want to make it crystal clear that this work that we've been doing for 18 years, this may sound weird to hear me say, but let me explain it. Simply saving your marriage is not our goal. That's a step along the way. The goal can't be to save your marriage or just to keep you married. How many people do we all know who are married and miserable? So that can't be the goal, but it gives us an opportunity to do so much more. We talk about how the first step is to eradicate the pain because both of you are hurting and you're broken and you've been through a tremendous amount. So personal healing needs to come, right? So it's the marital recovery, it's your individual recovery, and then you're on the path to a restored relationship where you can now get rid of the pain and tap into the purpose of what you were here to do in the first place. And we've known so many people who are on the other side of recovery who are in amazing relationships and doing so much, not just for their home, for their community, and for the world. But if they had thrown in the towel, call it quits, given up because of a situation that took place in their marriage, the world wouldn't benefit from the power of their partnership in their union. And so, listen, there's a life, a wonderful life on the other side of an affair if you commit yourself to a process. And here's the fact: none of us here are interested in any of you signing up for more of the same. Like, why would we want you trapped in a miserable marriage with a partner who's operating the same way? You're operating the same way. It is an opportunity for both of you to become the best versions of yourself, to pursue your own personal growth and development. Because as you become a better you, you will automatically have a better marriage. And that's what
Better
it's about.
marriage. Yeah.
Okay. We'll still start taking questions from the audience. Thank you, Shonde. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. For the update. We'll soon start taking questions, but before we go into that, I'm already seeing some really nice questions here. Hassani, please take note of this question, and Madabuchi as well. Edosa is my person, said, what's the difference between the cheater confessing or if they get caught? Does that make a difference in the healing journey? But hold on yet. I don't want you guys to go into answering the questions. Was just an interesting question. So if you are watching us and you are a couple that is dealing with infidelity or has dealt with infidelity and you need proper healing process, we want to do a boot camp kind of thing for couples like that. All right, we want to do a boot camp kind of thing for you as a couple so that you can get healing. All right. So please, want to encourage you. And if you know people, I know you know people that have dealt with infidelity or are dealing with infidelity and are just winging it, or they're just getting native advice from people, or they're just getting advice from a pastor that is not an infidelity recovery specialist. Trust me, I've been a pastor for about 30 years old. I even did a lot of that when I didn't know anything about infidelity recovery. We just give help the way we think we can, pray, forgive, and all that. Again, that's one other question I'll come to. So if you are watching, please, and you are a somebody dealing with infidelity, either as a couple or your partner is not yet ready to join you in the healing process, we have that boot camp for you. So the link will be put up. You can register immediately. Now, the benefit of joining this particular boot camp is that, number one, and Madam Uche will speak on this later. Number one, you're going to go the journey with other people. We found out, again, I'll let Madam Uche talk about, I don't want to, preempt her, but we found out is generally any journey is easy when you're going with other people as opposed to going alone. Any journey is just easier. So the benefit of this boot camp is that you're going to see other people as well dealing with the same kind of things, and you understand you're not alone. Second benefit is that it's obviously way more affordable just for those that can't afford normal infidelity recovery privately. It's a very expensive thing because of the expertise it takes and the time and the emotional drain. Because whenever the counselors, trust any counselor will tell you the most difficult kind of counseling to do is infidelity recovery, because you are going to share in the pain, of the couple, so it is draining as well. So most people don't don't know how to do it or avoid it. So it's going to be cheaper if you do it with the group. So please, want to encourage you. It's way cheaper. It's almost 10%. 10% of the normal price of doing it alone. So which is incredibly cheaper. I think to do it privately is somewhere around is about $2,000, give or take, a little above or a little beneath. That's in some cases. I don't know. I think Asani's one might be a bit more expensive than that. He's the OG of infidelity recovery, and he's celebrity infidelity recovery as well. So I know his might be a bit more expensive, but it's generally around that range. And he's going to be with us. He's going to commit to join us in this boot camp one. So trust me, this is just a deal you can't pass up if you're dealing with anything else with infidelity as well. So this class, I think, for a couple is $500. For a single person, somebody coming alone, it's $300 if I'm not mistaken. But there's a 24-hour discount for people that are signing up today. So if you want to take advantage of that discount, I think for that discount you get $50 off on both sides. So you 250 if you're alone, 450 if you are coming as a couple. The classes will be thorough. There'll be sessions that'll be individual. That will be those that are the betrayed alone. There'll be sessions that will be the offending party alone, because they're all going through different phases of emotion. They're not facing the same things. That's why infidelity recovery is not something you do by yourselves. It's just too complex, too complicated for both of you untrained in your emotions do by yourself. It's just not advisable. We just don't do that. So they'll put up the link now. You can start signing up. The discount is 24 hours. That means at exactly this time tomorrow, the price will go to the normal price. So take advantage of the discount. All right. But if you don't need the discount, of course, you can just wait till whenever. But the boot camp will start in August. But registration starts today. I don't know if they put the link up, and then we can go into that. So um, and I will have some testimonials. I think Madam Uche will bring somebody on later that will be able to share their own story. We've seen many couples, you know, recover from this thing. So it is so beautiful when we see a couple, bounce back together, happier, laughing after the pain of infidelity. All right. So I don't know who wants to speak here, Uche or Hassan. Anybody? Just let people know how important it is to do this course, this bootcamp.
You want me to discuss
Okay.
answer? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Uchi. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Okay, so I just wanted to start with how this started. Okay, so we were doing just the private thing, and then clients kept, coming, and they would go away. They come to my DM and they would go away. They would always complain that it was too expensive. So I said, okay, the only way to make this, worth everybody's while is that we do a group thing. Are you guys up for it? Everybody wants, yeah, because we I didn't expect it. No, but nobody believed that anybody wants to do group sessions. So they said, oh, they will do group anything. They just wanted to heal. I was like, wow, okay, let's do this. And they signed up, and it was amazing. We just finished our first Betrayed but Not Broken. They healed together, and they became sisters. They even decided they changed their own names, because we have to support you for over, I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're just there. We want to support them. So we didn't let them go. They're still with us, doing other assignments. And the testimonials have been outstanding. I think I have some that because they don't want to come online. They're not, the way we are, this kind of things, they don't want their business out there. So some of them wrote us, I don't know, I sent a lot of them to UPK, I think. I don't know if you have them. So, and they're still there. So it made us see this can work. This is amazing, because on the
Just
one-on-ones we find that the betrayed, we might take 8 sessions, 5 sessions. We're trying to get them, because of course the healing is not linear. You find some of them break down. There might be a trigger, and they just don't want to be ahead. There's a lot going on, because you tell the unfaithful, just be transparent, tell the truth, the full truth, the whole truth, and nothing else. Some of them, because they think they're protecting their spouse, they don't say everything. They feel like, oh, this is not necessary. Madam Uche, if I tell her this, it's going to break down. No, just let her know. These women want to hear these things, okay? And they also tell us what they want that could help them feel better. And we go to the unfaithful and tell them same. So we found those ones that they are unfaithful spouses were in the unfaithful group, and the ones that would be betrayed were in the betrayed group. Their healing was faster, okay, because this one was learning and this person was learning, and you find that they were able to break at almost the same time, and they now, want to stay, work on their marriage. Some of them came with their divorce papers. They were out. They had had enough. They didn't know, what else to do. Others had to get healing for their own affair partners. So many things. So it's a lot. All right. and the benefit is out of this world. I find that it's even more beneficial, because when you're healing in the private sessions, you can find that the betrayed is always mad at the unfaithful. Most times you just want to separate them. Something triggers them. Look at the way he said that, and the session shuts down for the day. But when you're healing in the group, especially women, we're just community healers, community learners. We like to gather for any reason that is not even serious. How much more the serious ones? You now find them when they hear other people's stories. I know there was one that told us a story about her mom, how her mom died many years ago, and because the dad was so in another state, and she had to drive from that state to see the dad. And when she got there, I think unannounced, she found him with another woman. Their affair partner was there. So she drove back crying and broken. And in that car, she had a stroke. By the time she got home, she was almost dead. Took her to the hospital. She didn't survive. She died. And the father came to the burial. He didn't spend up to an hour, left. And many years down the line, he's still married to their affair partner and they're living happily ever after. So the mantra that's broken. Everybody was like, no, we can't die in this. Everybody decided, okay, we're not dying in this. Whatever it takes, we're going to do it. What we need to do, even if we're not staying, let's have a plan. So many things. So yes, this group thing, this boot camp is amazing, and you guys will be amazed at the benefits you get from it. Yes.
Asani, go ahead. Share a bit about.
Yeah, I've been doing private marriage intensives for a very long time. And when people ask me, what's more powerful, to do something in private or to do it as a group? I always say that there's an element that the group offers that you never get in the private. You would think, okay, private, I have more time. It's just about me and my partner. And there's truth to that. There's a lot you can uncover in a private session. But when you are part of a group, it's a completely different dynamic. And interestingly enough, overwhelmingly, a lot of people have a lot of resistance to doing group. They hesitate, they pause, they don't want to be
Yeah.
exposed, they want to hide, they don't want to reveal their thing. And I think that they have, at least in the Western mindset, there's this mentality based upon what they see on television, that everybody's sitting around in a big circle and everybody's sharing their private matters and they're being exposed before everyone else. And it doesn't happen like that. That is not how it's set up. And so they realize after attending, like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I came, because I can now understand what my spouse has been saying, but I couldn't receive it from him. I couldn't receive it from her. But when that other man or that other woman said it, it put things in
Yeah.
perspective in a way that I didn't have before. Now I can have a better appreciation for what my partner's going through. That's number one. But number two, when you're in a group setting, there is a structure in place. There's a pathway, a methodology, there's a flow, and all of you are a part of this. Oftentimes in private, sometimes your emotions dictate what we're going to focus on and where we're going to go. So elements may be missed, but when you're in a structured type of environment, you're able to get a lot more out of it. And then there's the camaraderie between people, the relationships that are formed, the new community that you have. A lot of people feel like I'm the it couple amongst my community. I can't talk about this with anybody else. They're looking up to me. They want to be like me. I can't go to them. But this creates a safe space where now people feel like, oh, I'm not alone. It's not just me. It's not just us. Maybe there is a community and a support system and a place where we can go so we don't feel weird and awkward and uncomfortable, and we could find healing and we could find community. And relationships have been formed in these group sessions that have lasted for years. So
Yeah.
there's an incalculable number of benefits to doing group.
Yes. Which I was talking about the relationships that even the guys that were the offending parties have formed, and how they even renamed their group and all that. Would you talk a bit about that?
Okay. For the betrayed, right? You're talking about the betrayed.
No, the guys, the offending, but both really, but the offending guys, you said they renamed their WhatsApp group and everything.
No, it was the betrayed that renamed their
Oh,
WhatsApp
okay.
group. Okay,
Okay.
because the boot camp ended, and they missed it so much. They said they didn't want to go, so we said, okay, let's continue. But we collapsed them into another group, and they renamed themselves. And then we're still there doing so much more other assignments. Now that their spouses are willing to work on the marriage, now they are learning so many other things like love and respect. What does respect mean to my husband? He complained about this. How do I get through this? So we're all there. And when someone does the assignment, they come tell every other person. The other ones who didn't want to do it now say,
Yeah.
okay, let's try. Oh, it worked for you. Oh, good on you, girl. Let's try. So you see them encouraging themselves is amazing.
Mm.
Yeah.
And if I could just add to that, PK, going to the group of men, let's just say that the men are the unfaithful partners.
Yes.
One of the biggest struggles that a betrayed
Mhm.
spouse has is, will they do it again? And
Mm.
the reason why they're asking that question is because the husband is still associating with the men who are guilty of the same thing that the spouse was guilty of. And
Mm.
as long as they remain in relationship, the potential for cheating again is there. So when you have unfaithful men who come together, who go through a healing and restoration process, you're dealing with a new man, right? So peer pressure is
Yeah,
real, whether positive or negative. Now they're in a positive peer pressure environment to become the best versions of themselves, to stay on the right path, to honor and respect their spouse. So these new form relationships actually support the marriage in an amazing way. And so,
yeah,
to your point, whether it's the betrayed spouse, the unfaithful spouse, both of you have communities that help you to remain your best self.
Yeah, but okay, thank you guys. So a question I'm seeing a lot is, what if the offending party doesn't yet want to come to the class? Can just a betrayed, or can one person, one of the parties, just decide to attend this boot camp?
I would say yes, because in my private practice, we have something called a solo spouse intensive. So whether the offender or the offended, if the partner does not want to come, they come for themselves. Well, how does that benefit them? Number one, both individuals need to be healed. Both individuals need to dig into their own personal things. But number two, oftentimes we have been successful in, if this may sound weird, but we can counsel the couple through the individual. How? Because we're giving that person strategy and proper implementation of what to do when they get back home. Okay, so your husband doesn't want to come, your wife doesn't want to come. Okay, this is what you should do, and this is how you should approach it. Because oftentimes in our feelings, we say things and we do things that make things worse. But if you had somebody guiding you through a specific journey, oftentimes we've seen the partner who wasn't interested now come into the process because they've seen a change in the partner who was showing up.
Mm.
exactly. That's so true. I mean, we had a lot of the betrays were more, but you find that with time, the unfaithful started trickling in, because they started acting better. They, we've given them strategies and tools on how to work on themselves, and their spouse was looking in to see what's going on with her, what's going on with her, and even the way they ask. Maybe before then they were just putting it to them communication skills, putting it to them. You don't want to do anything, but we have to tell them what's better ways to communicate, to rein them in, and you find that being very successful. So you find the men also coming after that. So yes, very true. You can come on your own, and you will also grow. You will
Yeah.
heal. You will do better. Stop being broken. Okay.
Yes, it's better than nothing. It's better than just sitting at home or
Yeah.
just talking to friends and wallowing in the pain and self-pity and all that. No, because that will hurt you more. So if your spouse is not willing to register, you can register alone. However, we will really really love the couple. Because like Hassani mentioned, the healing process is threefold. The person that has been betrayed needs to be healed. The person that did the betraying as well needs to be healed, because there's something
Mm.
in them that made them act the way they did, and they are also facing the shame and the guilt. And trust me, you don't want to live with somebody also facing shame and guilt because they're not going to give you good energy as well. Then the marriage itself needs to be healed because the marriage, something was wrong and something will remain wrong until that is it. So if you heal just one on its own, that's not the perfect score. We want the perfect score where everything is restored back to normal. That's why we're calling this boot camp reset. You know, want to like reset the whole marriage by healing the offended, healing the offender, and also healing the marriage. All right, very very important. So please take advantage of it. Like we've mentioned, there's so much benefit to doing the boot camp. You do it with other people. You learn from other people's story. You get encouraged from other people's process as well. You find out you are not alone. Number two is also way more affordable. All right. Even though Hassani is very busy doing the private one-on-one, Miss Madam Uche also has clients all the time. But we just found out a lot of people also fall through the cracks just because they can't afford the $2,000 or whatever it takes to do the process privately. All right. So doing it in group incredibly reduces the amount to like almost 10% of what the normal fee will be. So it's a good opportunity to jump on it. We don't know when we'll do this again. So it's not something you postpone forever. You have to jump into this now, you know, and take advantage of it. All right. It's a professionally done thing. So that's why you don't have infidelity recovery specialists everywhere. A lot of your pastors are not. They can't give you good advice. They can't guide you through the process because it takes training, and the training itself costs thousands of dollars. So that's why it's not something that everybody on the street can do. And even if you are here, you're watching, and you want to do the training, you want to even learn to be a specialist as well, send a message to us. We'll train you. But of course, it's still it has its own costs attached as well. So, but if you're here, you want to join that boot camp, or you know somebody that should join it, bring them on, let them join. Individual is 300, couple is $500. But if you want to take advantage of the 24-hour discount, that's today till this time tomorrow. There's a $50 off on both. That means $250 for individual, $450 for couple. This boot camp is going to last about how many weeks, Madam Uche, is this boot camp?
8 weeks straight, then I'm sure they're going to collapse into another group that will keep supporting them. And
So really,
it's a lot
it's
of work.
yes, yes, it's going to be 8 weeks of holding your hands, helping you, guiding both of you, and then after that, there's still support. So it's a good deal you can't pass up. If I was you, and tell people. I know everybody here probably knows somebody dealing with infidelity. Tell people. All right, we'll walk you through the process. Hassani, can you tell us some of the things you will do or you normally do with even the offending party? Because sometimes a lot of the emphasis is on the betrayed, on the person feeling the immediate pain. But I think even the person that committed the offense needs some help. What are some of the things we take them through, in that process? You are muted, Hassan. So please unmute yourself.
Oh, I apologize.
Mm.
No, I agree with you 1000% that oftentimes the focus is on the betrayed spouse, but the fact of the matter is both people are hurting for different reasons and in different ways. And there has to be space and time to dig into those wounds. Because if there are wounds from my childhood or previous relationship that I haven't dealt with, and all I want to do is just fix the problem, okay, I may fix the problem, but I remain broken. And so I bring my brokenness back into a marriage and I wind up breaking the marriage again because I never got healed. And so we do take the time, not just to dig into the why, but to really help men understand, particularly in the context of marriage, like what does it mean to be a husband? How to become the husband that you are wed to be, understanding and having an appreciation for who your wife is and what she brings to the table, understanding the rules, the laws, if you will, that govern a healthy relationship. It has been said that men, we don't do relationships. We do sports, we do hobbies, we do extracurricular. But when it comes to the matters of the heart, we struggle. And so there needs to be a re-education, if you will, of what a woman is, what a wife is, and what marriage ultimately is, so you know how to show up in that space moving forward. Every woman wants to see a changed man. And that's a part of the process that we guide the betrayed, the unfaithful spouse through, whether husband or wife, but in this case, the husbands.
Okay, so guys, please sign up. I would advise to take advantage
Okay.
of the 24-hour discount. We're going to jump into some Q&A right now. We'll take your questions. The first question I want us to deal with is the one we asked earlier, that is there a difference in the healing process or in the whole journey if the person confesses or if they are caught? Yeah.
I would quickly say, yes, there is a difference. In fact, I wrote about it in the book. You know, how you discover the affair matters. And typically, there are four different ways you can discover it. Either what we call an accidental discovery, excuse me, like you were looking through a cell phone or you saw things pop up on a tablet. Then there's what we call the gradual realization. Maybe there was a prompting, there was a feeling, there was a nudge that made you think something wasn't right. And slowly but surely, the truth began to come out. Then we have confessions and admissions. That is when the unfaithful partner finally reveals it. And then there's the third party revelation. That's number four. That's when somebody else tells you. Well, the way that you find out absolutely has an impact on the recovery process. So if a former unfaithful partner reveals through confession, this is what I've done, well, they're starting off on the right foundation. We talk about this concept called the cube of deception, and how oftentimes when the betrayal is discovered, guess what? The pain and the hurt deepens. It doesn't end, it deepens, because typically the unfaithful person will engage in all types of lies and misinformation to protect what they've done and protect who they've done it with. And so if he or she is admitting to it, then that gives us an indication that healing absolutely can take place if done in the right way. So, yeah, you can heal from all scenarios, but the impact is different depending upon how it's discovered, for sure.
Mm, that's good. For those asking about the book, I believe Hassani's book is on Amazon, and Madam Uche also has a book. All these things will be given to you in these courses, as in terms of will be presented to you. Madam Uche's book is titled "The Three Faces of Affair," if I'm not mistaken. And the interesting thing in that book, and even in
Three
this
faces
course,
of it.
yes, is that Madam Uche speaks to the betrayed, speaks to the offending party, and she also speaks about the affair partner, whoever that third person is, either the side chick or the side guy. Madam Uche said she has ministry for them to speak to them as well. So, in case you are here, you are the side chick or the side guy, she's ready to work with you and also help you, because she believes they also have a life, they have a destiny, they have a face, they have a journey. All right. She believes that and need healing as well. So if you are like that and you want to do that as well, please just let us know as well. She'll be able to guide you. Yes. What was the question? Yes, I've answered that. Now somebody is asking, is infidelity always about sexual intimacy?
No. No, sex is one. So a betrayal usually is comprised of three things. There is what we call sexualized energy, because not all affairs or betrayals result in actual sexual intercourse, but oftentimes there's a sexual energy or a sexual emotional exchange that takes place in intensity. Then emotional involvement. That's another component of a betrayal. Okay. And then the third is secrecy. So you can have an affair or be involved in a betrayal and never lay hands on another person. And so some would ask the question, well, what's worse, forbidden sex or stolen love? Forbidden sex is physical, stolen love is emotional. So some think, well, they didn't have sex, no big deal. Well, an emotional affair could be just as damaging, if not more, than a physical one, right? So there are many things that make up what a betrayal looks like.
Mm, mm. Okay,
Yes.
Madam Uche, Okay,
So
Uche, you want to say something
it's
about that?
yeah, it's definitely sex is not usually the issue. Like you said, there's so many reasons. Okay, it's not necessarily about sex. Most times it's also about loneliness. It's about finding another self. You know, a journey to self is about so many things, and it's not. Many people are not, getting up every day to say I'm going to cheat on my spouse. We're in a close call world, also. When you go out there at work, you maybe on a project together, it wasn't even start. In fact, infidelity happens in happy marriages too. So there's boundaries,
Mm,
and yeah, it's about boundaries. I, I mean, some people seize the opportunity or they just fell. It's sin. It's also sin. So it's not really about sexual intimacy. That might be
mm.
the word, but not necessarily. There's so many other things. Okay.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So somebody's saying, somebody's asking again that do we do training for infidelity recovery specialists? Yes. So if you are watching and you are interested in being an infidelity recovery specialist, please we'll put a number or you can reach us by DM. But I'll advise the team, please put a number they can contact so that we'll put you through what it takes to be trained. If you want to be trained as an infidelity recovery specialist, we need more because the truth is that we have a lot of people we are helping. So the more hands that are trained, the better for us, especially for churches and things like that. It's very good as well. All right. Another question here. Um, what do you do if the offending party is not remorseful? All right. My partner cheated on me, but they are not remorseful. Maybe they are still in touch with their ex. They are still, they're not just remorseful. All right. How do we deal with that?
So we talk about forgiveness. One of the components of
So
forgiveness is
if okay.
Uche, just hold on. Let Hassani answer, then you speak.
Okay.
so yeah, so we talk about this whole concept of forgiveness and how there are four different types of forgiveness. One of them is what we refer to as acceptance. Acceptance, not accepting that what happened was okay, not accepting that it was no big deal, but accepting the fact that it actually did happen, right? Now, a part of that process is knowing that I may be married to an unwilling participant. He or she shows no remorse. They're not apologetic for what they've done, and they're continuing to do the same thing. So I've got to forgive you, not to give you a pass for you to do what you do. I've got to forgive you for me, for my own healing. See, a part of my healing process is to release the emotional pain that I'm going through. Because if I don't release it, negative emotions turn to stress. Stress turns to sickness and disease, and now it begins to weigh me down and have an impact on my life. And so it's unfortunate when you feel like you're trapped in a relationship with someone who just doesn't care. Well, that's when you have to take on other strategies to help deal with your own well-being in that relationship. And then that's when you're working with a coach or a counselor to figure out strategies of what to do from that point forward. And every situation is different. That's why I don't like giving general broad advice when it comes to certain things, because some people who don't need to hear it will hear it and apply it in a way that doesn't serve them.
Yes. Yes. Uche, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So when your partner is unremorseful, you go. We sort of separate you, and then you go on a self rediscovery. Okay. You start healing for yourself. You could stay or you could leave, but you heal first, and then you can make more informed decisions from a healthy perspective. Then you can begin to look at the person. All right, what do you want to do with this person? You need to stop, because some of them come with the idea of who their partner is. We ask them to look at them. You have to accept that this is the person you have now, this is the spouse you have. Some don't want to accept it, and then that makes it difficult. But you look at your spouse and see what you are up against, then you can make informed decisions. like I said, there's so many other things, to put into consideration. So we don't just give you a blanket, reason or decision to that. So it's about you looking at who you are with, and then you go on your own, and then you can, sort it out from there.
Okay, awesome. Please, can the team put up the number and phone number people can reach as well, especially for those that want to be trained as infidelity recovery specialists? So put up the number, contact number, email or something, so that they can make inquiries about that. Please don't forget, take advantage of this boot camp. To bless you. Hassan, somebody is asking that, do you do premarital counseling and premarital trauma sessions?
Yes, absolutely. We have done that for years. And what a great opportunity for couples to come to us to know what to avoid, what foundation to lay to prevent all of this crisis from taking place. So the answer is yes.
All right, amazing. So, but please, guys, take advantage of this. Like I said, if you want to do a private session, it's somewhere around 2000 plus dollars for the 8 weeks. If you just you and your spouse. Now, if you can afford that, you can still reach out to us. We have the capacity to do that. But we're doing this boot camp for people that probably might not be able to afford that, and also want to benefit from the group energy. Like we explained, doing it in a boot camp in a group has immense value. Trust me, every journey is easier when there are other people like you taking it with you. So jump on it. We would you be a great blessing. Remember, there's a 24-hour discount today. So quickly register. It will be a great blessing. Somebody's asking how much is it in Naira. Just click the link, go to the link, click, and you'll see the I don't know, the conversion. I don't know exactly the figure. All right. And people are in different countries. So once you click it, it will. Hassan, if somebody's asking this one, this is a good one. You see, these are the things we're going to deal with in the class. So don't just take these answers like you've gotten healing. No, we want you to come into the boot camp and get proper answers. But somebody's asking this: is it healthy to keep reading the text between the unfaithful and the side chick or the side guy?
Really quick story. I'm in Texas. Arizona. A couple flew me in for a private marriage intensive. I stayed in their home. Day one, we're dealing with the full disclosure, all the details of the affair. And so in the midst of the conversation, the wife just grabs her cell phone and it's almost like she completely disconnected from our conversation, and she's scrolling through her phone, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm reading the text. I'm like, what text? The text that were exchanged between my husband and this mistress for the last 3-4 years. And I said, you've kept all the text. I've got the text, I've got the videos, I got the pictures, I got the evidence, I got everything. And I said, great, now that you all have it in one place, delete it right now. I said, delete, what do you mean delete it? I said, delete every single text, photo, and video. We spent about an hour going through that phone and gutting it of all of the evidence, because the reality is your subconscious mind will never forget. So why do you want to consciously keep reminding yourself about what is done? What happens is there is a logical brain and an emotional brain. And every time you pull up something from the past, you begin to conjure up that emotion that's attached to that past hurt and pain. This is how people live in perpetual hurt and pain, because they've set up shop in a past moment that has caused hurt and harm and damage to their lives. And so it's not until you free yourself from everything associated with that affair can healing truly begin. And it's a standard practice that we have all of our clients do for their own benefit and their own good.
Mm. That's amazing. People are asking that, is this only for married people? No, if you are single and you're also dealing with infidelity, everybody can be dealing with infidelity or betrayal. So if you're single and dealing with infidelity, then you can also attend. It's useful for you as well. It's the healing process. Everybody needs the healing if you have been betrayed, especially in a love relationship.
And can I add something? PK, I know I keep referencing the book, and you just said that for those who take the course, they will get this book. But in addition to getting this book, if it's okay with you, I want to add additional resources for all of those who attend that walk them through all of the techniques in a comprehensive way that act as a support system. So there's more that you're going to get when you come into this group platform by signing up today.
So guys, let's make it happen. Let's go sign up. Send the link to people you know. Don't just stay in pain and in hurt. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. You deserve to be healed. You deserve to deal with these things and live a happier life. All right. So, do we have any other questions? We'll soon round up today. Somebody's asking when will it start?
Okay.
It's going to start in August. Uche, you want to say something?
Yes, we have some of our clients at the back say, I don't know if we want them to join and say anything.
Yeah, if they can share a quick testimonial, that would be nice. What do they? Can they come on?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Did you?
I think they're back.
Have you given them the link? Where's Gideon?
Is Gideon there?
If they click the link, uh, if they click the link, they should see where it said join, right?
Okay. I think they're backstage. I don't know if Gideon can let them in.
Just a minute. Let me resend them a message. Okay. Yes, I think I can see them now. I can. See. Yeah, you can go ahead and speak.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Dr. Pastor K. It's
Good evening.
Uche.
Good evening.
Good
Happy
evening.
to be here. Um, Mrs. Uche, I guess you know who this is.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Thank you for showing up.
All right. Apologies, was held up, but I'm happy to finally be here. What would you like to know? How can I help today?
So, okay. So, we're just talking to couples about. I see another person as well. I know, and I see that there are two people. So, welcome as well.
Good
Um,
evening.
Good evening. Good evening. We just wanted to know, in less than a minute or a minute, how did the group sessions and the whole boot camp thing that you did, how did it impact your marriage and the whole process you were dealing with at the time?
But they did this was one on one.
Oh, you did one on one. Okay, but how did the whole recovery process go with Madam Uche? How did it help you?
Okay. I would say it was very enlightening. Up until that point, one had always thought therapy was something for people who had mental problems. I think that's a general misconception, which would be nice to help people to understand that it's really. I I I ended up understanding that these counseling sessions are like school for marriages.
Mm.
They're really that's what they are. They are school for marriages. Um, we go into marriages not knowing anything. We have all sorts of lofty ideas and fantasies about marriage and love. Things that we probably capture from movies and novels, which are, of course, as you know, embellished with ideals that are not necessarily realistic. When you get into the real nitty gritty of marriage and union and partnerships, you find that you end up feeling disappointed. But the reality is that you you feel, if only you knew, if the same way you had gone to school to prepare for a career, if only you knew what you were getting into, you could have prevented some of the problems that you end up facing. And this doesn't only apply to the relationship with your spouse. I think it also applies very, very much so to raising children. And one of the things I went away wondering is why our parents don't do enough to educate us about what they themselves are doing, what they have learned. We tend to go in blind, and we get into a lot of troubles. And we were able to learn a lot about what we could do differently and how we could do things differently to make the union more enjoyable, if I'm to use that word.
Mm. Are
I
you
think everyone deserves this education. The question becomes, how do we make this education more universal? Because when we were getting married, we did a premarital counseling in our church, but it was like a group. It was so touch and go that I don't even imagine we got a lot from that. So there's how do we make this more universal? That will be my question. And perhaps not a question for you to answer, but a question to put out there to the world. Everybody who is seeking to get married should get this education. The type of education that the educator knows that you have learned something, not the one that people just come, talk, and go. So they just tick the boxes and they've moved on. I'll stop there.
okay? I wanted to also tell us, give us just maybe one thing that was very striking, that was very pivotal, that was very, impactful during your sessions, that, really, really, changed the trajectory of the whole situation you were dealing with in your marriage at the time.
Um, oh, there's so many. I don't
Yes.
think I can pick one. I mean, first of all, the whole thing about love languages, apology languages are very fundamental. If they're not just fundamental to marriages, they are fundamental to everything we do in life. Um, the counseling sessions opened my mind not just to marriages or my marriage or the institution of marriage as a whole, but to life as a whole. I got an opportunity to take a second look at myself, and that sort of created a spiraling of knowledge acquisition that has transformed the way I look at life as a whole and the world in general. So that was quite fundamental. I don't even know how much more to say that or to explain that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mrs. E, I'll call you that for now. Tell us a bit
All
about
right.
your experience.
Good evening. I I got to know about LDM about a year ago, and I benefited tremendously from the counseling sessions, especially as regards healing, because it was really a struggle for me. I had attended other counseling sessions, but I didn't make as much progress as I did when I signed up for the LDM private sessions. Mrs. Uche was really, really helpful in guiding me, taking it like on a step-by-step level on the healing process. I didn't even understand that when you are betrayed, you need to, how do I put it? You need to give yourself some time to heal. You need to heal well so that you can make an informed decision. And what struck me in particular is the fact that we were sort of separated to have something like a self rediscovery, and not just on dealing with the problems in the marriage, but attention was being paid to us individually, separately, to help us with our challenges. That was really, really striking, and I gained a lot throughout the session, because we find out that most times when we are hurting, we are focusing so much on our pain. We don't focus on some of the blessings around us. Begin to feel like the pain defines everything. But sometimes when you dwell so much on your pain, you are blinded to so many other important aspects of not just the marriage, but the feeling of being you feeling so down, feeling like, oh, you've failed. But there's a lot more what you're passing through, and healing is so important. I got to realize that it is important. You are able to function better when you're healed, and you can only walk towards getting a brand new marriage with a healed mind. So it was a completely enlightening experience, very helpful. I would highly recommend anyone going through infidelity to sign up. Sign up, whether you're the betrayed or you're the unfaithful partner. You'll be amazed at how all that you will eventually get to discover. You will even discover that even though you're the betrayed, there are things you need to work on. Even you yourself, there are things you need to do differently. Um, it's a joint effort to make a marriage work, even when there's infidelity, even when the other person has strayed. You both need to work together. You need to do some things differently. You need to rediscover yourself. You need to heal, and that was really, really, really helpful and really amazing. I have no regrets signing up, and it's something I would encourage anyone to do.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Before I let you guys go, for Mrs. E, I know women generally don't mind therapy and counseling, but before I let you go, I want to let the gentleman also speak to the guys that are watching. Maybe for some reason they have stepped out of their marriage and had an affair, and they're thinking, why do I need to come for counseling? Why do I need to go for therapy? Is it something for me? Will I be shamed there? I want you to just take 1 minute to just encourage them why they should go for it before I let you guys go.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, these counseling sessions are education. Um, you get to learn about yourself. We do things we don't even know why we do them. Sometimes we think this is the reason, and ultimately there are deeper reasons why we do the things we do. Um, it's it's no value living an entire life not fully being mindful of why you do the things you do. Learning and understanding who you are and the why helps you to be intentional about how you live your life. And being intentional and being mindful ensures that you are in control of your life. You're not just, life is not just happening to you. You are in control of your life. So um, I'm not here to say that uh, you know infidelity is right or it is left. I'm just saying that there is a value in understanding yourself, knowing yourself, understanding why you do the things you do, and helping you to take control of your life, because there are so many forces out there that are actually controlling your actions and you just don't know it. That's one of the things that I've learned, and I think everyone should understand. Mindfulness is a big thing for me. It's a big thing that I came out of the whole, even though it wasn't necessarily covered, it was just something I also picked up along the way. And I am very conscious of the concept of mindfulness and intentionality in life and living.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, both of you, for coming to share at least a small testimonial. Thank you. We appreciate that a great deal. God bless you. And maybe one day you guys will join a counseling team to
Yeah,
help
so thank you so much, guys.
hold
Thank you
people's
for
hands and
having me.
help them. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. You can sign out now so that we'll not keep you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Hope you heard the testimonial of two people that have been through the class. In fact, what we discovered is that most times when people go through the class, they end up joining the team to strengthen other people because they're just they are knowledgeable. In fact, when I talk to pastors to train their people, I said, look for couples in your church that has been through infidelity. Let's train them. Those people have insight into the pain and the rigors and the journey that a normal counselor might not have. So when I talk to pastors and try to get them to bring their people to come and train, I say, apart from the normal, your ministers and co you want to train, bring me couples in your church that have been through infidelity. They are the best people to help other people because they've been able to hold their hands. Please, both of you can exit. There's an exit button. Look for it so that I won't keep you here. But thank you for coming to share your story. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you had the testimonial of two people. There are a lot of them as well that have been through it, and it has been a great journey. Adefemi said we should start a university. That is what LDM is building and doing. It's like a university. We just don't call it university. Adefemi, you're absolutely right. I don't feel a normal church can do that because that's not their core focus. But Love in a Marriage is a para-church ministry, and that's what we are focused on. So we do premarital counseling. We do Wife 101 for wives. We have BFF for single ladies. If you're a single lady, you're not married yet, BFF, they'll put the link for you. You can join. There's registration for that already going on. That is also starting in August. BFF, all single ladies. So please, team, can you put the link for BFF? If you're a single lady, you are not married yet, BFF is a must. All right. If you're a married woman, there's Wife 101. That's a must. All right. Then if you are a man, because I saw a man asking that I should talk about doing business with your wife and all that. We have something called Husband Man. That's where I mentor men. Then I have one coming up also called Inner Circle. Is where I also mentor men. So if you're talking about business and all that, then you should be in Inner Circle. Inner Circle is where I'm going to mentor men for. We have a 5-year plan, even though we're starting with 1 year, but we're going to talk to men about their next 5 years. So I'm doing it with some other experts. Somebody like Hassani will be there. Dr. Sam Adeyemi will be there. Kole Shoriyo will be there. Olumide Emmanuel will be there. We'll be talking to men. So there are so many things going on in LDM. If you go to our website, you see all these things. You can join. But single ladies, they're going to put BFF for you. Register. Couples that want to heal and reset from infidelity. This is going on. It will be a blessing to you. It's happening this August as well. There's a 24-hour discount. The two people you just heard from that shared their testimony, they did the private sessions that was about $2,000 or so, $2,000 plus dollars. So reason why we're doing this boot camp is for those that probably can't afford that. I want to join a cohort that has to do with a boot camp with other people. It comes down to about 10% of the price. If you are registering today, it's $250 for individual, $450 for married. Please put back the BFF poster. I was still going to talk about it. Put back the BFF poster. Yeah, so take advantage of that. If you're a single lady, this is BFF. Pastor Major will mentoring for 12 weeks. It's virtual. You can join from anywhere in the world. 12 weeks, single ladies. There'll be assignments, there'll be assessments. All these things goes on. It will be a great, great, great blessing to you. All right. Do we have any other questions before we let our guests go? They are very, very busy people. So what of a scenario where both parties have cheated at different points and it's more like it's even? What's the best thing to do? So this is what the last question. Asani, I'm sure you've seen this before. Asani, did you hear the question?
So do I have a question?
So did you hear the question I read?
No, no.
Yeah, it says, what of a scenario where both parties have cheated at different points? Is it more like it's even, or what's the best way to go about it?
No, and that's, I think, that type of thinking is a part of the problem, because a lot of people engage in revenge sex, and you did it, so I'm going to do it. I want you to feel the pain that I'm going through, so we're even now. And it only makes things progressively worse. It doesn't take away the pain. It only adds to the pain and makes the recovery process a little bit more complex, because you're not just dealing with one person being the offender, one person being the offended. Both of you are on both sides of the equation. So it requires a little bit more work. And so if you find yourself in that place where both of you have been unfaithful at different points of times, you need to come here, because I'm going to tell you what, I've seen scenarios where maybe 10 years ago, my spouse was unfaithful. We never really dealt with it. We never really went to counseling. We just went along with life as usual. And out of nowhere, I found myself in an affair. And the fact of the matter is, some of what you've done may have been linked to that original affair that you never really dealt with. So it allows both parties space to be able to deal with their trauma in this group context. So if that is you, that is more of a reason why you need to sign up today.
Okay, last question, and both of you can chip into this, but last question before we sign up. But please, everybody, go register or send the links to people that you know would need it. Last question: what should be your first reaction when you discover your partner is cheating with more than one person? Confront them or just seek counsel?
Both. I mean, I think you have to confront, for sure. What I typically say is, make sure you have proof and evidence of what has happened, and there's no way that your spouse can deny it. A lot of times people have a hunch, they have a feeling, they're looking at things that just don't add up, and they come too prematurely accusing their spouse of something, and all their spouse does is deny it. And so this is why we say, play detective, but act naive till you get what you need to get to present a case that is irrefutable, indisputable. You can't argue it. This is what happened. Now let's go ahead and get this help.
Which, do you want to say something about that?
So let me add. Yes, I'll say get sex off the table, protect yourself so you don't